Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our virtual Meet the Expert session. My name is Emma and I am part of the My World of Work Live team with Skills Development Scotland. My World of Work Live is about helping you understand what jobs Scotland is going to need in the future and to help you get the skills you will need for those jobs. Today, we're going to cover an overview of the early learning and childcare sector. I'm going to introduce you to our expert, Luc Wood, and allow you to ask any questions that you would like to. I would encourage you to get involved as much as possible. Please use the question and answer box, which will be at the bottom or the side of your screen, to ask us questions as we go through, and we'll try to get as many of those questions answered as we can. If you're feeling a little bit shy, please don't worry. Everything you ask today can be anonymous, and you can just select that option in the Q&A box. I would just like to let you know that today's session is being recorded so that young people who could not make it today can still access the resources. The recording will be available for everyone to watch on the My World of Work Live playlist on the My World of Work YouTube channel. So, before we meet today's expert, let's have a look at some of the labour market information around the early learning and childcare sector. There are currently 32,200 people employed in this sector. The average salary is around £24,000, and the workforce is expected to grow from 2020 to 2023 by around 2.9%, and that equates to about 900 people. But there will also be about 3,100 replacement jobs, and that just means people will be retiring or leaving that particular sector. So all in all, over the next 3 years, we're looking at around 4,000 jobs within the early learning and childcare sector. As you may be aware, this week is Scottish Apprenticeship Week, which is an opportunity to celebrate apprenticeships in Scotland and to share the value they have for individuals, employers and the economy. As you can imagine, all the activity for the week is virtual, with people and businesses right across Scotland sharing photos, films and stories. So you can have a look at the other activity by searching #ScotAppWeek21. So before we speak to Luc about his journey, I'm just going to highlight some of the pathways into the early learning and childcare sector. So you can start actually in S5 or S6 with a foundation apprenticeship. And that gives you a chance to gain valuable work experience and an industry-led qualification in early learning and childcare. The foundation apprenticeship prepares you for a wide range of different early learning and childcare roles, which includes a nanny, a nursery worker, or even a childminder. You will also learn how to organise fun activities as a play worker and to help children build their self-esteem. Or give children and their families vital support as a care worker. Completing a foundation apprenticeship can fast track you into a modern apprenticeship and counts towards entry into all colleges and universities. So to become a support worker, so we're going to look today at the 3 different levels that you would traditionally find within a nursery setting. So to become a support worker, it usually takes around 12 months to complete these courses. You can do an NC in early learning, education and childcare, which has a SCQF qualification level 6, and the level 6 is the equivalent of a higher. Or you could study the SVQ in social services, children and young people. Again, that's a level 6. Or you can study the modern apprenticeship, which is what Luc, our expert, is currently doing. Then you can might have ambitions to become a practitioner within a nursery. And again, these qualifications usually take around 12 months to complete. You could look at doing the HNC in childhood practice, which is a level 7, which is the equivalent of an advanced higher. You could do the SVQ, social services, children and young people. Again, that's a level 7. And then finally, you might have ambitions to be a senior or a lead practitioner or even a nursery manager. Now, in order to access that role, you would need to potentially look at something like a graduate apprenticeship, and the graduate apprenticeships are available through the University of the Highlands and Islands or the University of the West of Scotland. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to live in one of those areas, because they are actually delivered remotely, so something that you might want to look into. And you can also do a BA Honours degree in childhood practice, which is a 4-year course, or your BA in childhood practice, which is a 3-year course. Okay, so today we're really lucky to be joined by Luc Wood, who is, like I've already mentioned, a modern apprentice in children and young people. I'll just give you a little bit of an introduction to Luc. He completed his NC in early education and childcare. He has then gone on to work as a supply worker in a nursery setting, and he is now a modern apprentice who's studying through college and whilst gaining valuable work experience. Now, unfortunately, due to technical reasons, we haven't been able to get Luc to join this call by a video link, and he joins us by the phone. So I'm just going to say hi to Luc, and we're going to see what questions we can start off with. If we've got any questions coming through for you. How are you today, Luc?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Okay, so we've got a few questions coming in here for you. First of all, we would just like to know, there's somebody asking, what skills would you say are the most important for your job that you currently do?
Well, there are many important skills to become a childcare practitioner. Of course, being a caring and a caring person is the most important to show care, and patience is another one. Patience, as in to let a child speak and speak their mind, is one of the most important things in a setting. You have to be able to be adaptable to different ideas and be adaptable to different ideas and different ways of learning in a setting.
Excellent. And can you just tell us a little bit about how you managed to get into the early learning and childcare sector? What was your journey into there?
Well, I've always been told by friends and family alike that I've been very good with children, be it their own or others they've seen me with, and I've always known I'm very good with children. And during my time in secondary, when we had our work experience, I went to a school setting and worked in the primary, and a co-worker there asked if I would like to do 2 mornings in the nursery department, and I did the 2 mornings on a Thursday and Friday, and I really found I was drawn more to the nursery than I was the primary. And so when the careers advisor came in my final year I was at the school, they directed me towards the Shetland College to do my NC in early education and childcare, which I did for a year. I learned alongside doing a few days of placement at a school setting. And after I'd completed that, I went on to the supply list. And from there, I went on to become a modern apprentice.
Excellent. Okay, that's really good. So you kind of knew from the offset that you were probably going to be working with children. That's really great. And obviously went to see your careers advisor, which is really good advice. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, daily routine it can vary from week to week depending on the rota. Well, my setting certainly has a rota where one week you may be on the big room, so you'll be on activities, or you may be on the smaller carpet area, which is more focused activities. The big room's more craft activities, whilst the small room is more focused ones. You could be outdoors and supervise children outdoors and set up activities such as obstacle courses or painting outside, or you might be on snack and lunches. Of course, there are other other day-to-day tasks such as toileting, just observing the child, and obviously getting in observations on a child and putting it in their learning diary.
That's excellent. Do you have a particularly favourite activity that you like to do?
I do like doing snack and lunch and getting the children to help. Pre-COVID, you would get them to prepare snack themselves and to cut it and help you. So hopefully we can get back to that. Would be nice.
Excellent. So what do you think is the most enjoyable aspect of your day?
One of the most enjoyable aspects, there's a few to choose. Definitely for me, one of them is when a child comes into the setting. Well, when a child comes in and then they leave, when they come back the next day, they're excited to come in. If you've left that good of an impression on them, they'll want to come back, and then the parents will tell you how much the child's been speaking about coming back, whether over a holiday period or a day. And it's nice that we can leave such a positive impact upon the child and parents alike.
Brilliant. And is there any particular aspects of your day that you find challenging or that maybe you don't enjoy quite as much?
I can't really think of any. No, I particularly like all aspects of the job. I don't have any that I dislike whatsoever.
Brilliant. Now I've got a question coming here. Would you recommend the MA route over, sort of college or university, for example?
It's really up to personal preference. I didn't go for a uni route. That's really purely because I'm more of a stay at home, kind of stay around the area sort of person. So I personally went to do the college work, which I preferred a lot. So I
And do you
would,
feel that you're getting a good experience, because obviously through the MA you're working while learning. Do you think that's been valuable to you?
yeah, definitely. It has been a brilliant way to learn. Obviously, learning at the same time as working. You work, oh, I would certainly work 5 days a week, and I study from home. Pre-COVID related, we would have a tutorial once a month to learn at the college. But normally now we just do from home study on the laptop or computer or what have you.
Okay, and has that been okay? Have you found that okay, kind of manageable?
It has been manageable, yes. It's a great way to do so because you're experiencing things in the setting and working at the same time as studying and learning.
Excellent. We've got a really interesting question here. Somebody's messaged in, I've heard people talking about outdoor nurseries. Has Luc ever worked in one of these?
I have heard of the outdoor nurseries. I have never actually been to an outdoor nursery. I've heard a lot about them, very positive things about them. I know one or two children who I have definitely looked after, or the parents have definitely told me they have been to outdoor settings, and I've never been to one, but I would definitely love to see it. I would definitely like to experience one.
I suppose, though, you're probably quite lucky where you are in the fact that you probably have a good outside space to allow the wee ones out.
We have quite a setting. We obviously you always try to expand upon or to add new things to it. But yeah, we've got a decent amount of space for outdoors, but obviously not as much as a outdoor setting solely
Excellent.
focused on that.
So I've got another question. What subjects would you recommend I do at school?
Well, the main ones for me when I certainly did the NC at the college were English, maths, and IT that I remember were the main ones. I believe there was at least a N5 in English. I had N5 in English when I left school, National 4 Maths, and IT, I think a National 4 or a 5. And I did an ECDL course, but the college actually provides courses for you to basically show that you can do it. They basically want you to know, they want to see for themselves that you can do a certain aspect of maths or English or IT. And it sounds daunting at first, but it isn't really. There's lots of supportive people who are willing to take as much time as you need to help you. Certainly for me with maths, it was quite the case.
That's really encouraging. So you're saying your college has managed to support you to get up to the level that would be required?
Yes, there's lots of support people out there. Certainly for me, it was very supportive, and it gave me a equivalence to, I think it was an equivalent to a higher English, an equivalent to National 5 Maths, and
Brilliant.
there was an IT course as well.
That sounds good. I've got a question here. Did you know you wanted to do childcare before you left school?
Sort of. The careers advisor was definitely helpful getting me to that role. speaking to them was a very helpful thing. Before I left, I didn't have, I was like a lot of people, I wasn't really sure what to do. You're very unsure about what to do. But for me, after the work experience I did, I certainly was more drifting towards childcare.
Great. And I'm not sure, there's somebody asking here about apprenticeships. So obviously I've mentioned that we've got the foundation apprenticeship, you yourself are doing the modern apprenticeship, and then there's also the graduate apprenticeship available. So there is a full suite of apprenticeships available within this sector. I don't know if you would know this, Luc, but how did you access, there's a question, how would I access the apprenticeships? How did you manage to access your modern apprenticeship?
Well, I found out about it from my head teacher of the setting I was at. I was working there, and I was advised towards it, or I was told of it. So I got it from hearing from somebody else.
Great. Okay, so that's useful to know for people. And I think in this situation with the sector, particularly local authorities, are probably quite a good one to keep your eye out on, because they tend to be quite big providers around these, because obviously nurseries tend to be, not always, but they can be local authorities. Can you think of any other advantages? Are there any other advantages of working in early learning and childcare?
Working in early learning childcare is very advantageous, because as you progress along in your career, you'll have amazing opportunities. You'll have lots of opportunities as you progress through your career. You'll have lots of different job opportunities, different roles you could play. So it has a lot of advantages. And in the community, it's, for me personally, I feel that I've become quite quite known in the community and trusting, and become trustworthy by people, and it's a good feeling to be trusted by a local community.
That's a really good one, actually, because it's maybe some people maybe not thought about that, but the fact that you are there every day, working with people's young children every day, it is quite a pivotal role within a community. So that's a really good one to pick out. I was just going to ask about, do you get the school holidays?
Yes, we do get school holidays. Every holiday is available to us, and we do get the occasional holiday or long weekends. There are, however, in-service days, so you'll get 2 days of in-school working to do training, normally at the very end of the holidays.
Excellent. And I think did you mention before about school, like holiday clubs? You'll have the opportunity to work in holiday clubs.
Yes, there will be some settings that have childcare over the course of the school holidays, and you can volunteer for that, and I do believe you get paid for it. You put yourself on a rota or a schedule, and you can help out and get paid for it. And it's
excellent. That's good. Do you have to keep learning and completing professional qualifications? So you have touched on this a little bit about the fact that it's a great sector because you've got the opportunity to advance and move up the grades. But so do you have to do that? Do you have to keep learning? What's the script?
Well, there's always new training coming in. There's always different training that you can do. There are always new opportunities for training, and it's very good to have those opportunities for training. There's always different courses coming in, both online and from other practitioners of the setting that we're doing and offering training for you to do.
Great. And do you think there's quite a lot of opportunities for career progression within this sector?
Definitely. As you go along, there'll be different roles that could become available to you, whether it be practitioner or senior practitioner, will open up as you progress through support worker or through the modern apprenticeship role I am certainly doing. I will be able to become a practitioner as I complete the qualification.
Brilliant. And we've got here a question: is the pay okay?
The pay is quite nice, yes. Definitely promising and positive to a young person.
Good, because I think we touched on that in the presentation. We said it was on average 24,000, but obviously, as you move up, I imagine that you'll have the potential to grow your salary depending on the position that you find yourself in.
I believe so, yes. And it is quite it's a decent amount of pay, yes, and it's quite it's quite nice, yes, for someone
Good.
to gain that much.
And I'm going to ask you a cheeky little question. What did you purchase anything with your first paycheck?
I think something substantial. I do remember I bought a PlayStation 4 with my paycheck. I think it was when I first joined the Modern Apprentice. I already had an Xbox, but I decided to get a PlayStation 4.
Excellent. Okay, we've got a really good question here. How long will your apprenticeship take, and how much time is based in college, and how much like is study?
Average, the apprentice should take around 2 years, and it can be extended if need be. And
Okay.
there's a lot of work both in the school and at college. I believe there's a tutorial once a month you can do. Obviously, with COVID now, it's not happened a lot, but there are meetings I have with my assessor, certainly.
Excellent. Now, question here. How do you find being a man in a female-dominated industry?
It is quite daunting at first for people. Of course, it is quite a dominated setting, but I believe that it shouldn't be. I personally don't feel any different from any of the females in the setting. I certainly feel that I'm as capable as anyone else. Not, of course, not putting down any others in the setting. I just feel that stereotypes. It's ridiculous to assume that only a man can do metalwork or woodwork, such jobs, or a woman must be a cooker or a cleaner. I mean, you can be wherever you want if your heart is in the right place. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to stereotypes or what you should do.
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant answer. And I'm assuming that you probably are the only male within the setting.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
There is an occasional male that comes in, but that's not often.
Great. It's really encouraging, and I'm hoping as well you're going to be a really positive role model for those people who are listening to this today, because it's really good to hear. What piece of advice would you give to a young person considering this sector as their career?
I would say go for it. If you really want to work in childcare, then 100% do it. If you're willing to do it, you can't. In my opinion, you can't do it if you hear the pay is good and that's the only reason you want to do it. That shouldn't be the reason you do it. You have to really want to go for it. You can't just look at the pay and say, "Oh, the pay is good. I'll go for that." Because you need to actually need to understand your responsibility and your role and your position as a role model to these young children and these new young people who are coming up, and you will have a big responsibility. But if your heart's in the right place and you really want to do it, of course, 100% go for it.
Brilliant. And we were just wondering, has COVID-19 affected your job? And if so, how has it affected your job?
COVID has affected the job a little bit. There has been obviously recently only children with critical childcare in the setting, and we have been on a rota. So for me, I was off 1 week, and the next week I was in 3 days, and then the same, I would be off the next week and on 3 days. It's been very different with social distancing, of course, but things have been relatively the same. Things are getting back to normal here now, which is really nice to see. But yeah, hopefully things can get back to normal very soon.
That's good. That's really encouraging. Just wondering if there's any one person or anybody in particular that motivated you to get into this sector.
I definitely had a lot of help from the head teacher who was in the setting. Was a very big help to me, both with advice and pushing me along, and um, giving me not notoriety but talk of me, and they would boost me up around people. But it was nice of that, and I have a cousin definitely who's helped me out a lot and has been an amazing role model. So they're definitely someone that has been very helpful towards my career.
That's excellent. That's really good. Now, we have kind of touched on this before, but I'm just wondering if we can just have a think about the potential within the sector. So we've obviously mentioned the 3 different apprenticeships within the sector, and you've said that it's a really good, it's got lots of possibilities for progression, and I'm just thinking, as you're moving up, I think, am I right in saying that potentially as well, if you have done your graduate apprenticeship, that it's actually also another route into teaching?
Yes, there is a role into teaching. There are obviously other qualifications you probably will need to get, and other training you need to do. Certainly for me, I am interested in the role of being an additional sport needs worker, the possibility of that, and I would need to get a different qualification for that.
And is that motivated by your experiences in your MA, or is it something that you've always been interested in?
It's been in the MA, but it's been just the personal experiences with children with additional sport needs. I've really enjoyed working with them and helping them, and I possibly see myself being in that sector of work.
Well, that's excellent. I just wanted to touch on as well around the expansion. So just in case people who are listening maybe don't realise, obviously we're talking about an increase in the number of jobs available, and that I assume is coming from the expansion of hours that the Scottish Government is providing for our young people.
Yes, there's a lot of new jobs coming out. Of course, there's lots of places are getting extended hours, and there's many opportunities for people all over Scotland and the UK for jobs in childcare. So that's
brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right, I think we've got time for one more question. If I wanted to do childcare, would having experience before leaving school help?
A little bit, yes. Of course, all experience helps, but at the same time, it can be a new learning experience. Certainly for me, I had a little experience with the work experience I had where I worked. It was only a week in the school setting. I had a little experience from helping out with family, like children, but that's not exactly childcare experience. So in a way, it will help, but don't be afraid to go in not having any experience, because that's the whole point of it. Is you're there to learn, you're there to just start your new career. So don't be worried to go into the job with no experience.
Brilliant. And I suppose as well, if somebody's sitting at school thinking it might be something that they're interested in, they could maybe take the initiative and phone up a local nursery, or like you say, even work with young people within their family as a starting point. I don't suppose any experience is going to be a bad thing.
No, experience will not be a bad thing at all. Experience is good. Of course, there are different opportunities. Of course, you could help in a youth club if you wanted, or you could help local people in the area, or even just simply babysitting, doing babysitting jobs would be a little experience. But yeah, experience would definitely help too.
That's a great answer. Thank you, Luc. Well, I think that's all the questions that we've had today. I'm hoping that you have really enjoyed it. I would just like to say a massive thank you to Luc for taking the time to join us today. You might have heard he's actually in his setting at the moment, so we really appreciate him taking the time to come and join us. If you need information, advice or guidance on all things careers, please feel free to speak to your careers advisor that you'll find in school. Alternatively, or as well as, you can visit myworldofwork.co.uk, and on there you'll find lots of information that can help you make choices about your future, career, and inspiration on what you could do. There's lots of different job profiles on there, so go and have an explore if you haven't already. There are tools on there that will help you understand your strengths, and there are lots and lots of job profiles for you to explore. As mentioned earlier, this video, along with the other expert sessions, will be added to the My World of Work YouTube channel under the My World of Work Live playlist. For further information on careers in early learning and childcare, please check out earlyyearsscotland.org. And you can also have a look at childcarecareerscotland.scot. Both really useful websites, and some of them will also actually give you local opportunities available there. You can also check out apprenticeships.scot and use the hashtag for more information on all things apprenticeships. We have lots more of these sessions planned, so please check them out and see if any are of interest to you. Finally, thanks again to Luc, and thanks to you for joining the session. Take care and have a lovely day.